So I am with now City Council candidate for Ward 6. I want to say Shanequa, and I know that's incorrect, so please correct me.
Yeah, it's pronounced Shanequa.
Shanequa Fryar.
Fryar, yes,
Okay.
sir.
So you're a Forest Park resident. You're running against Victor Davila. Is this your first time of running for office?
It is my first time running for office. I've been a resident of Springfield my entire life. I did leave for a bit to travel with my husband in the military, but I've been back. But yes, I live in Forest Park, and this is my first time running.
So what has motivated you in 2023 to run for office?
What motivated me is that originally a part of me wanting to move back was to be a part of the city that I grew up in, wanting to raise my kids in the city that I grew up to love and grew up to develop as a young person. And so as I have been raising my children, when we moved back, I only had 2. Now I have 5. And I want to see a better Springfield. Everyone talks about how Springfield has great potential, and I believe now is the time to tap into that potential. With everything that's been happening around the world, within the city, I think it's time for a fresh perspective and new eyes on what's happening in our city.
So what are some of the issues in the ward that, because ward councilors naturally advocate for their ward first and foremost.
Correct.
What are some of the issues in the ward that you're seeing that should be addressed?
So some of the issues, particularly to our ward or Ward 6, that I have been told and that I've noticed, especially when I'm going out talking to residents, is that there's a strong concern for blighted properties. Properties that do not uphold the standard of decent home ownership, especially when it comes to the historic district in Forest Park. So leading into, that's a huge issue. How do we maintain the integrity of the Forest Park Historic District while still making sure that our residents and the people that visit our area, have pride and are, treating it with loyalty. Another issue, of course, is public safety, and that, is a big umbrella when you talk about, the panhandling, the crime in the area, whether it's car break-ins, whether it's home invasions, anything like that is a huge issue for our ward, and is really a city issue, but mainly those are the 3 things that are heavy with our residents. So it's public safety, blighted properties, and the preservation of the historic areas.
Okay. A lot of people have been very critical of the fact that so much development money and effort has been aimed at downtown. I live in the Maple High Six Corners neighborhood. Before that, I lived in Indian Orchard. Those are 2 neighborhoods that frequently say, well, not enough attention is being placed toward us.
Right.
So do you think that there is the potential for development in your neighborhood in Forest Park that is unfulfilled, that there are things that you should be doing that the city hasn't done?
Right. So I think in any ward there are things that can be addressed, and are we addressing them? So it's right that a lot of money does go towards downtown, because that's where we see our most tourists. That's where we kind of get a lot of our income when it's fluctuated through the downtown businesses. But my question is, what are we doing to take care of the individuals that reside here and pay taxes here? And so how do we improve the areas in which they reside? And so there are definitely abandoned buildings that could be, renovated, and, housing is a huge issue. So how do we, put money into those buildings to, support affordable housing? The Bing Theater, needs tremendous amount of renovations, but how do we put that, why are we not putting money towards that to, bring that back to life, for our ward? So different things can be done, and if we tackle one by one, if we had a committee, a team to really look at how do we improve each ward. So maybe that's something, maybe we need subcommittees in each ward to say, let's really tackle the potential in areas that we know we can improve and what we're going to do with them.
So we've gone through several rounds. I can't remember the number. I think we're at 12 or 13 or 14 rounds of ARPA funding.
Yes.
This is something that's been of great interest to members of the City Council, where the mayor is allocating the money, who is getting the money. There's been a lot of criticism from members of the council about this. I'm wondering what you're thinking about these ARPA awards. Do you think that they're being used for the greatest good of the city?
In some cases, I do not. From my research, it looks like a lot of businesses have received ARPA funds that are, businesses that are in good standing. Yes, we had the pandemic, and whether or not they got, PPE funding from that, or grants or whatnot, they were in good standing by the time we began to roll out the ARPA funds, right? So really are the businesses in need, seeing that money. And I've spoken to 2 different businesses actually within Ward 6 that say they have not received. They were approved to receive their funding, but they have yet to receive it. So the question is, for the companies and businesses that have been approved to receive those funds, why have they not received them to add that cash flow back into the community? And so I think that's a huge issue, and it's a large question about where we put our money. Like they say, put your money where your mouth is, but we've been talking a lot about it, but we're not really seeing the fruits of that labor. And more importantly, that money should have been used to really give a huge boost to our city in different ways in different areas, and we're really not seeing the fruit of that.
Well, we've got a debate next week, which I
Yes.
think you're participating in on
Yeah.
Focus Springfield, which is great. And just want to say good luck to everyone, because
you so
I don't do
much.
endorsements.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, good luck to everyone. It's a hot race. You have a lot of people running. I'm glad a lot of people have thrown in their hat. It just means that people in the city are paying attention, and they want to see change. They want to be a part of it, and it's time for that. We can't just sit by the wayside and just not really know what's going on. And a lot of people seem to care about this city, as we should. We're not saying we're going to leave the city to care about another city, which people have done. They're like, I'm going to get out of Springfield and go someplace else, but let's stay here and let's improve our own city.
Thank you very much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time to speak with us.
I
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.